What's up? So I wanted to hop on and, this impromptu sort of discussion. Um, I talk a lot about fitness, health, exercise, diet. Um, these are all obviously components to a healthy life. And, the more people I work with and the more people I talk to that are wanting to make changes in their life and their health for the better, we all know what to do. Like, we all know eating whole foods, plants, vegetables, meats, fruits. We all know these are good for us, right? We all know we should be walking more. We all know we should be drinking better water, more water. We all know we should be exercising and doing resistance training and all these things. And so the real question, and this is really, if I'm being honest, is kind of the foundation of my coaching. The real question is, why aren't you doing those things? Because it's not for lack of information anymore. You could literally go on to Google, YouTube, you can find all the information. The real question is, why aren't you doing what you know you should be doing with that information? And from my experience, it all comes back to, we all have stories, right? Like, we all subscribe to beliefs, stories that at one time in our life served us. And if we're not progressing in these habits and these actions that we know are good for us, it's because on some level we have like a story or belief that's keeping us stuck. And so I'm not a therapist, not a psychiatrist or, doctor in that way, obviously. But from my experience, it's so important that if we want to go from where we're at to where we want to go, we have to be able to identify what's holding us back. So what belief do we have around diet, around exercise? What is keeping us stuck? And for many, it comes down to putting themselves second. Maybe they grew up in a household where their needs were always pushed off to the side in an effort to make everybody else happy, or an effort to make sure that everybody else was progressing at their expense. So we grow up as adults and we subconsciously fall into those same behaviors where we know we need to be exercising, but we're not going to do that because we have to take care of our families or we have other responsibilities. So the story becomes that we take a back seat. So step one is being able to identify what that is. Now, this is probably the most uncomfortable thing for most people because it demands ownership, right? Like, it demands introspection, it demands awareness. And in an age, in a lifetime right now where our attention is being pulled in a million directions, it's very hard to go like inward and search for these answers. Once we've identified them, we need to be able to decide what do they mean going forward, right? So we need to feel into that and rewrite that story. So if you grew up thinking that your needs were second nature, or that you had to push your needs aside, you now have to decide, what does that mean going forward? Is that something you want to believe? You have to be able to really do some work on that. So you have to identify, I've traditionally taken a back seat. I typically have put others' needs in front of mine. Is that serving the life I want? Is that, bringing me forward? If it's no, then okay, how can I rewrite that? How can I turn that experience where, I always neglected myself in an effort to put others first? How can I change that narrative around, right? So you have to start examining that. Is putting yourself first, could that be better for the people in your life? Is taking care of yourself the best way to take care of others in your life? You have to, again, really start picking and pulling at that and create a new narrative around whatever happened to you before or whatever stories you have from before, and you have to make them mean something different going forward. From there, now you can combine these kind of parallel things. You've got the story here that drives your behavior, drives your actions, and then you've got the actions and habits themselves. So what a lot of people do is they take the actions, but the stories are limiting, which means you're only going to be able to use discipline and willpower for so long before these seed stories pull you back down, okay? So now that you're leveling up here with your stories and your beliefs, now the actions can kind of move up the ladder with you. And this is what most people miss. They want to take the actions without changing their beliefs, meaning they want to work out and exercise because they don't like themselves, and that can only last so long. If you're lucky, the actions alone will help elevate your beliefs, but the problem is people can never take the actions long enough for their beliefs and their stories to change with that. Most people give up long before they're able to change their identity, change the narrative around health and body perception and just who they are. And so you want to, again, after you've identified, the limiting beliefs, after you've been able to rewrite them, then you can combine them with the actions. And that's where you create a new identity. And that's where your results can really take off. That's where you can see rapid change. That's where you can see, weight loss. You can see relationships get better. You can see your jobs get better. You can see promotions. You can see like all sorts of things. And this again is just from my personal experience and being able to change stories and narratives around things in my life. It's always a work in progress. You're never perfect with it, but just know like whatever you're experiencing like in your life is a reflection on some level of what you believe to be true on the inside. And so if you're struggling to make progress in your health or any area of your life, consider looking back. Again, what limiting belief or story do you have? How can you change it going forward and align that with the right actions, and you'll be unstoppable, okay? So a lot of info here, kind of rambled on, but this was something I've been thinking about, something I've been talking to my clients about, and so just wanted to share it with you. Let me know if it's useful. Of course, if you have questions, feel free to comment, and let me know what you think.